going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Welcome inside to the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union, where people are the point. Nat Uretsky filling in for Joey McMurray as well as Ryan Milano today, making my hosting debut. So happy to be with you this afternoon. We got a great show today. Oregon softball, they'll be heading out to Stanford this upcoming weekend. Oregon baseball facing off against Utah, top 25 matchup. Track and field, they're going to have the Oregon Twilight this upcoming Friday. So a lot going on around Oregon athletics. Rob Moseley from GoDucks.com, the editor-in-chief, is going to be joining us around 1:30. And then we also have some football, softball, baseball, and track and field interviews with you today. So a really fun show. And let's go ahead and jump right into things. So softball. Oregon softball heading down to Stanford, top 25 matchup, the Ducks versus the Cardinal. And man, this is a big weekend for Oregon softball in the terms of postseason implications, in the terms of where the Ducks want to be when the end of the season comes. And, well, it starts this weekend against the Cardinal. The Cardinal, the 6th-ranked team in the country. The Ducks, they find themselves at number 25 in the NFCA poll. And ultimately, if you look at the Pac-12 standings, the Ducks right now, they're out of the first-place competition, but by the end of this weekend, they could find themselves at number 2. UCLA, they're currently number 1, 14-4 overall this season. Stanford, 15-6, and Washington, 13-8, with the Ducks just behind them at 12-8. So a lot going on this weekend. The Ducks, depending on how things shake out across the Pac-12, they could finish number 2 in the Pac-12 heading into the Pac-12 tournament. That's going to be next weekend in Stanford. So this weekend, the Ducks going to be in the Bay Area in Palo Alto, and then this weekend to next weekend, they're going to stay there. The Ducks are going to be in Palo Alto all week long. And the Ducks, with that extra time, going to have some extra practice. It's going to be a good week overall for the Ducks as they have a big top 25 series. And, well, if the Ducks, run the table, who knows? Maybe they could host a regional. That's what's exciting, and that's what's on the line this upcoming weekend. Games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, 7 p.m. on the Pac-12 Bay Area. Saturday, 4 p.m. on the Pac-12 networks. And then Sunday, also on the Pac-12 networks. That one going to be at 2 p.m. And all the calls will be on KWVA. I'll be making the trip down to Palo Alto this upcoming weekend. We'll have the hometown call on KWVA Eugene 88.1. So, Melissa Lombardi yesterday talked a little bit to the media about this upcoming weekend against Stanford, about the upcoming Pac-12 tournament as well, and we're going to run that here today. Every time that we talk to a head coach from the University of Oregon, it's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute. Every time it's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care. Coast to home. Here is head coach Melissa Lombardi.
The fact you're going down there and staying down there does almost feel like the postseason starts right now, if it hasn't already even.
Yes, definitely. And we were actually just talking about that. Even though we have one series left in the season, we're thinking of this as beginning of postseason.
Does it help to get that message across when the stakes are what they are, that there is the possibility of climbing as high as second if things broke the right way? Like that there is. It seems like it would resonate easier when those stakes are real as opposed to, hey, it's a tough opponent, but we can't really change our destination or outcome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what's exciting about the Pac is that, like, all the way to the end, we're all fighting. We're all fighting to finish for the finishes that we want to get. So I'm excited to go there. I like that we're going to stay. It does feel very much postseason like a week early. So
where are you at in terms of kind of getting Hannah back kind of reintegrated to whatever extent she can? Like, does it feel like kind of emotionally everybody's processed that and now you can kind of get on with things, as hard as that might sound to say, but that, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That kind of dominated the last couple of weeks for a very good, understandable reason.
Yeah. Yes, I feel like we're, it's like it's our new normal, unfortunately, which stinks, but it is what it is, and you just have to keep pushing forward. Hannah has been integrated, will continue to integrate. Like, she's right in the middle of it and doing what she can to help us win without physically being out there. So I think the biggest thing is just knowing that she's going to be okay, and seeing how her recovery has really allowed everybody just to almost have permission to move forward. It was a tough injury, and that's what I would say is just, I commend these guys. That was tough to deal with for all of us, and then just to continue to push through it. And you're worried about her and if she's going to be okay, but then also there's games that you have to play. It's just kind of a part of it, and I think they've handled it really well.
Val talked a little bit about how this past bye week you got the extra practices, and she felt that you got to work a little bit more on some areas, and then it panned out on Sunday. In your eyes, what were some of those things that you guys were working on that you saw actually pan out on Sunday?
I think just our ability to continue to communicate, with our cuts and relays, our ability to strike early offensively, our ability to have shutdown innings defensively, things like that. It was nice to have, I don't want to call them normal practices, but like right now your practices, you play, you clean up, you prepare, and then you play. So it allowed us just to actually practice a little bit and have more time for some things that you don't always have the time for.
To go back for a moment, I couldn't immediately recall, was there anybody ever at Oklahoma who had an injury at the end of their career for you? Because it's one thing when Brooke, but there was the thought that there would be another year, and just wasn't here, that Tara had to sit out a year, but it was the beginning of her career.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had to encounter and help an athlete through at the end where it ends, certainly not severely as Hannah, but under any circumstance where it was at the end?
This is our first one. Yeah, we've had stuff that has been earlier in the season, but not like this.
And nothing even when you're at Oklahoma like that you can recall?
No. I hope this is our first and our last. It was tough. It's been tough on everybody. It's been really tough on her, and how she's handled it has been excellent, but it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And again, I just think these guys have handled it really well.
When we spoke with her, she wasn't 100% sure about traveling and things like that. Is she going to be able to be with you guys?
I'm sorry?
When we spoke with her, she wasn't 100% sure about traveling
Hannah.
and things. Is she going to be able to go with you?
Yes, which is great. It's like having another coach in the dugout. So, no, she's been great. She's doing really good. I'm proud of her.
This week, when you're going up against a pitcher like Nigeria Canada, she's going to just kind of dominate, it feels like. That's what she's done throughout the season. How do you guys strike against a pitcher with her capacity?
I think we just continue with our game plans. Like every series we go in with different game plans for different pitchers. We'll do the same. Like, we won't do anything different for her. We know she doesn't give up a lot of runs, obviously. So I think it's just important for us to, when you have things in front of you, you have runners in scoring position, it's just understanding how to clutch up. So whatever is asked, to be able to come through with it and clutch up. And then from there, our defense and our pitching staff do the same. But
what does she do in the circle, and how does that compare to any pitcher you've faced so far this season? She
throws pretty hard. She's throwing in the low 70s. She's got really good movement, and she can also change speeds. So it's hard to try to almost sit in between her speeds. I think you have to pick a speed, trust your game plan, and go for it.
Since I guess we won't get to talk to you after the Stanford series, just what were your impressions of the inaugural Pac-12 softball tournament? You got one more left. Any other? What did you feel worked, and what are you hoping to see following your series against Stanford?
I loved it. I was glad that we finally got to a Pac-12 conference tournament, and I'm excited that we're going to at least get one more, and would love to win the last one. So I think it's great. I think we're all our conference is a really, really tough conference, and to be able to broadcast that and for the rest of the country to see, I think sometimes the rest of the country doesn't realize how good we are until we all are in postseason. So I think having the Pac-12 tournament allows the rest of the softball world to see how good the Pac is, which I think goes a long way for us with the selection and all of that's coming up.
With you guys staying down at Stanford a little bit extra more time, I guess, in a sense. Do you feel like you're going to have more of those quote-unquote normal practices, and what does that schedule kind of look like going into the Pac-12 tournament?
Yeah, I think it just allows us to, if we were to play and come home, we'd turn around and come back and play. So it just gives us more time to not feel rushed in between coming back and forth. I don't know. I think there's something about being on the road with each other that goes a long way. We have seen that in some of the things that we've done this year. So I don't know. I think we're just excited about getting this series, and then from there having an opportunity to breathe a little bit, and kind of go at our own pace and not feel rushed. That's what I would say.
Talk about needing to take advantage of opportunities, knowing there might not be a lot of them. That feels like that's been a theme all season. How do you feel like your team has progressed in terms of being able to come through when they need to?
I think we've progressed really good. I think about this team and where we were at the beginning of the year, and in similar situations and how we handled them at the beginning versus how we're handling them now. I think we're playing our best softball right now. You look at our numbers in the pack, and they're strong. They're strong, and this is our toughest schedules in the pack. So I think we're in a good place. I think these guys understand how to go every single weekend into a super regional and come out and win a super regional, or if we fell short, how to take that and take it into that next super regional and come out and win it.
Certainly the hope missing over the course of a career. We talked before about like when players get to be their seniors or the super seniors, then all of a sudden, what a shock, their statistics usually see an uptick. It's that way for Paige in certain areas, but is it an anomaly that it's in situations that are seemingly more favorable to the pitcher? Like her bases empty numbers are way up for her, and that's supposed to be more advantageous for the pitcher in that spot. So is it just how and why do you suppose it is that she's pulling through in that situation that's seemingly very disadvantageous to her?
Yeah.
And that's where she's having the most success.
I really don't have a great answer for you. I just know that she's a competitor, and whether we have runners on, don't have runners on, she's a leadoff. I just think she competes. I don't know. Numbers are strange. I don't know necessarily why certain things work out. I don't know. It's probably be a better question for her.
That is head coach Melissa Lombardi. Every time that we talk to an Oregon athletic head coach, it's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Again, a big weekend for Oregon softball games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, 7 p.m. Pac-12 Bay Area. Saturday, 4 p.m. Pac-12 Networks, as well as Sunday on the Pac-12 Networks, Sunday at 2 p.m. All the games on KWVA Eugene 88.1 of the hometown call for all of those. So it's a big weekend for Oregon softball. Also a big weekend for Ariel Carlson. Ariel Carlson, the only player ranked in the top 5 in the Pac-12 in doubles, home runs, and RBIs. Home runs and RBIs, she's second right now. Second with 14 home runs and 51 RBIs. She's also 5th in stolen bases, but those home runs and RBIs, those are big. She just finds herself just behind the leader by just 1 and 1. And so overall, Ariel Carlson, big weekend for her. She could end the weekend as the Pac-12 leader in home runs as well as RBIs. And she would be the first Duck since 2007 to lead the Pac-12 in home runs. That was Anne-Marie Tops back in 2007 with 19 home runs. And then she would be the first Duck since Jen Sailing in 2007, who had 73 RBIs to lead the Ducks in the Pac-12 in total RBIs. So big weekend for Oregon softball. We'll have you covered on KWVA this upcoming weekend. And with that, we'll step aside for the first time today. It's Duck Insider here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside to the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We just talked some Oregon softball, and now let's talk some Oregon track and field. This upcoming Friday, it's going to be the Oregon Twilight at Hayward Field. Big upcoming meet this upcoming weekend, and head coach Jerry Schumacher met with the media earlier this week, and we'll get to him right away. Again, every time that we talk to an Oregon head coach, it's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Here is head coach Schumacher.
All right, Coach, I know you were with the men at Pin Relays, but when you saw or heard about Jada's record, what was your first reaction?
Oh, so it's really actually great. I was actually on the airplane flying back, and I have Nate sending me text messages, and he's like, Jada just second throw just threw a big one, and I said, how big? He goes, I don't know yet, but Blue threw both arms up. So I was like, well, that means that's a good thing, because Blue doesn't get that excited. So anyways, he said he got the steel tape out, and to find out she threw 1971 again, which means, you know how it is in any kind of sporting event. Someone puts up 70 points, like, oh, fluke night, or someone throws something big or runs fast. Oh, it's kind of a fluke. Jada just backed up that 1971 with the second 1971, then followed it up with perhaps the greatest series in NCAA history. So her throwing is just through the roof and outstanding right now, and yeah, it couldn't happen to a better individual. So we're really excited about her.
As a coach, as a staff, what's it like to see, when you've invested in her progress too, to see kind of that paying off?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is the best part about it. Obviously, I've only got to know Jada here for the last year and a half. You want to talk about a quality individual? She is just outstanding in every way for this team, for this program, and what she does. I mean, you don't find better than that. And then to have her have the kind of success that she's having, I mean, we couldn't be more thrilled.
She was talking about how she just got into like weightlifting when she got to college and things like that. I mean, does it feel like her ceiling is still?
I just had that conversation with Coach Blucher today, and he's like, she's got 20 meters in her. She's got 20 meters in her. So how far into the 20s, I don't know, but he's confident she's gonna throw 20 meters.
Is she somebody that you can use as a role model across events? Be like, hey, stick to the program, and you will see the marks go up if you put in the work.
Yeah, Jada, you see it across the board. Everybody cheers for Jada. Jada cheers for everybody. She is one of those glue people on our team. She knows every event area. It doesn't matter if it's just the throws or not. She knows every event area, and she is just well respected by everybody.
How excited should everybody be, not just for like NCAAs in Eugene, but for the trials, and how jam-packed it should be to see Oregon potentially make it, especially out of college?
Yeah, right now, and I know it's early season, and as college athletes, we're a little bit ahead of the track season, so to speak. But I think right now Jada's ranked 7th in the world with that throw. She has a chance to make the Olympic team. For the crowd here at the Olympic trials to have an Oregon Duck, doing that, that's always huge. So we're super excited, and we have a long way to go yet, a lot of season to go. But like I said, if she keeps going down the road she's going down, it's she's going to be competitive for sure.
You talk about taking the step from having the one big throw to then the series and backing it up. And to the layman, though, they might ask, is she peaking too early? I mean, because there is still a lot of season left.
There is a lot of season left. Yeah, I don't think she's peaking too early. Coach Blutrick is in charge of all that, and he's really good at what he does.
Got the Oregon Twilight coming up. What are you looking to get out of your team this weekend?
Yeah, so the Oregon Twilight obviously is a really fun meet. It's the week before the conference meet, so it's not one of these high-powered, got to come in and get a lot of stuff done. We're just kind of fine-tuning a few things. The meet's going to be really fun. It's senior day, so that's always great for our seniors, just to be able to put them out in front of the crowd one last time and have them give them their due for 4 or 5 years of hard work here. We also have a little performance window between 8 and 9 in the evening, which will showcase the McChesney 1500, which is something we always like to do here. We also have the women's 1500, which is going to be very high quality. The 5Ks will be great. So that little evening window, I'm someone who checks the weather a lot, and it was perfect yesterday. And now today they're showing rain. So I was a little frustrated by that, but we're going to still have a great meet. So we'll see where that goes. But that performance window should be kind of fun in the meet. We have a middle school mile, which I think is always fun for the middle school kids. We have the half lapper with the duck. So, just some fun things, I think, for our crowd and our younger groups. Other than that, I think the Twilight should be a great meet. Like I said, a little tune-up for us.
You have quite a few guys entered in quite a few events. Have you narrowed down what everybody's going to be doing on Friday?
Most people will be towing the line of the track. We're still not positive. Like, some might be in some pacing duties. Some, we have a couple things that we still have to get done before Pac-12s that we want to run some marks. No, it's not narrowed down completely yet, but we're working on it. Yeah, a lot will depend on this afternoon's practice.
Well, let's talk Penn Ria a little bit. Part of one of the greatest 4x miles of all time in collegiate history, and then that 4x8 just coming up 1 second from a Penn wheel. What'd you see from the 4 guys that traveled over to Philadelphia last week?
Yeah, so it was really fun. So taking those 4 guys over there, and we haven't been back at Penn I think in a while, and we took 4 guys, and the day before we ran the DMR, and one of they were all saying, well, who's going to run the 400? And I said, well, it's going to be one of you because we have 4 guys here. So, and they're like, okay. So we kind of figured that pieces out, and I thought that was a good opening leg for us, and they got a chance to be inside the stadium and take in the atmosphere of Penn. And then when they came back on Saturday, it was like a whole nother comfort level for them. I could just tell they were like, oh, been here, done this, we know how this works, stand in the paddock for 20 minutes, whatever it is that they throw at you at Penn, which is, it's one of those kind of meets. They were just ready for it. And then we talked the night before. We said, hey, Texas A&M's got a really good team. They got an anchor who's run 144. That's pretty good. He's one of the best in the country. If not, I think he's got the fastest time in the country outdoors right now. And so we were like, okay, we got to find a way to put a little distance on them. So the way we organized our team, we thought this gives us the best shot to maybe put a little distance on A&M and hopefully discourage him from catching us. So we did a lot of work in that race, only to be caught there right at the end. But it is what it is. The guys did a really good job, and I was really proud of that effort, and I think they'll be better for it going forward too.
What do you want to see from Devin in the 5K on Friday?
I think our main goal is just to get a regional qualifier. We're not trying to run too hard just because he's got some work to do at the conference meet in less than a week. So we'd like to get a regional qualifier and just make sure that that's an option on the table for us at regionals if we want to try to pursue the 5. We're going to make a decision probably on the 5 or the 10, but we can't do it right now since he hasn't run a 5 yet. So getting a regional qualifier would be the main objective of that race.
Try not to do it in Boulder.
Don't want to do it in Boulder. I think that might be a little bit tougher with 5,000 feet of elevation. On the distance runners, I think everyone on our track team is going to like Boulder. I think the distance runners are going to be like, oh.
So I guess how do you guys approach it that way? Obviously knowing the disadvantage of the elevation.
The only team that's advantaged by the elevation is Colorado. Everybody else is in the same boat. So we know that that's the way it is. And we're going to come in ready to go regardless of the elevation. Or the weather.
That is head coach Jerry Schumacher, and he talked a lot about Jada Ross. What a week for her. She was given her second Pac-12 Field Athlete of the Award. of the Week award this season. And what a week for her. The Medford, Oregon native just off to a phenomenal junior season. We'll hopefully get to her later on in the show. But pivoting back towards the Diamond Sports, let's talk a little bit about Oregon baseball. Tuesday, big win for the Ducks against the Beavers. Down 5-0. They came back 9 unanswered runs. A 9-5 victory against Oregon State on Tuesday. And a guy that had a really big game, Jeffrey Hurd. 3 for 3, hit a home run, also walked in the game, 2 runs scored overall. A big game for Jeffrey Hurd. And he talked to the media after that game on Tuesday. Here is Mr. Hurd.
Describe the demeanor of your group when you fall behind the way you did early. Obviously, the response on the scoreboard was impressive. How would you describe the demeanor in the dugout when you fall behind early like that?
Yeah, we take the game 1 inning at a time. So whenever we go down big early, it doesn't really affect us or mean too much to us because we know we still got a whole lot of baseball left. And I think that mentality is kind of the reason we can come back in games like this. And a lot of teams, that'll happen to them and they'll kind of wither early, but it doesn't happen to us. So.
First home run in a while. Yeah. What was that like?
It felt good. I was, I think over the last about month or so, I was playing a little bit stressed out and kind of trying a little bit too hard and just kind of had to relax and remind myself just that whatever happens is in God's hands. So it really helped me just play loose and freely, and I think that's when I'm at my best.
What's that process? Sorry, go. What's that process for you to try to free yourself there?
I journal. I kind of talk things out, and then try to get all the thoughts out of my head and on paper before I go on the field. And then when I'm out there, it's just a clear mind. I'm just playing.
You talk about taking it 1 inning at a time, but when you're able to, as an offense, score 3, 4, 5 straight innings, how does that momentum carry over inning after inning?
Yeah, that's kind of what our goal is to win every inning. So I think we break it down into like almost 9 individual games, and we want to win all 9 of them. So I think that's how we kind of stack those innings up and how we end up winning more innings than the other teams.
Do you feel like you got all of your homer today?
No, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't think that ball was getting out at all, so I was pretty thoroughly surprised when I was running first. But yeah, it felt good for sure.
Brock gave up that home run at the first at-bat, but then settled in, retired 9 straight, struck out 8 straight. What can you say just about how he kind of settled things down there on the mound?
Yeah, that's just who Brock is. I mean, he's had dealt with some injuries and stuff like that, and he's got a real bounce-back attitude, and I think that's how he's able to do things like that and then come out and I think at one point you said he had like 8 strikeouts in a row or something like that. It's like, I mean, that's just who he is. Like, he's able to just wipe stuff off and just go out there and attack the next guy.
When you're watching that, are you like counting the amount of strikeouts he has in a row, or is it kind of, something you see after the game and you're like, wow?
Yeah, I'm not really counting at the time, but you'll see, like, I'm out there just getting pumped up, like screaming after every inning, like excited for him, and you don't really count it, but you can definitely feel the momentum building and stuff like that.
With Brock doing his thing with the 8 strikeouts and then Betcher with his, I guess, the first of his 2 home runs, just like, was there like a collective moment when just all the momentum shifted? Did you feel like you guys were going to take care of this one?
Well, I mean, like I said, like it never really felt like we were out of it, but it's just moments like that where you, it kind of like, it's coming into real life what you're seeing in your head, and I think that's good for us, and seeing stuff like that kind of energizes everyone else. Like Betcher's homer got the rest of the lineup going and stuff like that, and obviously Brock set the table well for the rest of the relievers to come out too.
Well, I said that you were kind of dinged up, but getting back to being healthy. How are you feeling right now?
I feel good. The stuff we're doing definitely is working. Getting my wheels back a little bit. I was limping out there for a little bit, but it's nice to be able to kind of go out there and run around a little bit better than I was before.
First 2 games against these guys, kind of the offense limited a little bit, but then you were able to respond in the last 2 with 16 runs. How important is it to maybe win the last 2 versus the first 2, or just respond in general?
I think it's huge, like you said, to win the last 2 versus the first 2. We have 3 series left, and we're trying to win this league, and I think doing that really builds momentum for the next 3 weeks we have coming up.
You switched from the pencil bat.
I did.
What's the story there?
Not much story to it. Just kind of scuffling a little bit, want to switch things up. That's really all it was.
You were out of the lineup for a little bit there. Yeah. Did you and Marta try to work on some things and try to hone your swing in, or is it just kind of like more like just time to kind of work on yourself?
A little bit of both. There was definitely some swing stuff, but it was more just getting my mentality back right and just getting back to who I know I am as a ball player.
What was it like to see Jackson Jordan back on the mound? It's been a minute.
It's huge, yeah. I think Jackson's going to be a guy who comes up big for us in the playoffs and gets a lot of innings, and we really need guys like him to come back and pitch well, and I think he did a good job today.
Do you have a favorite uniform out of this new set?
These ones, the black ones for sure. These are I've only homered in the black ones, so that's why.
That is Jeffrey Hurd talking to the media, and he mentioned it a little bit. Jackson Jordan, what an outing for him. 1 1/3 innings for him, a couple of strikeouts, and man, he was huge. And also good to hear him feel like he's getting his mentality back, getting back to his own game. So good to hear from Jeffrey Hurd after that big 3-for-3 game against Oregon State with a home run against the Beavers. Ducks evened out the series 2-2 against Oregon State this season. And with that, we'll step aside for another break. And when we come back, Rob Moseley is going to join us here on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Country Financial Studio. Nat Uretsky with you this afternoon during the 1 o'clock hour. We said that Rob Moseley was going to be joining us. He has a meeting right now, and he's going a little bit long, and so with that, we'll pivot back to softball. Again, another big weekend for Oregon softball. Final regular season weekend happening, and hey, Rob just walked in. He's coming in right now. Finish that meeting. Rob, come on. Come on in. Makes his appearance. How we doing?
Look at you all grown up.
I know. How we doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know. Big seat here today.
Yeah, have you messed up yet?
No. Well,
have you cursed?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That's all that matters, right?
You kind of lost your train of thought in the middle of a thought?
Not so much.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to actually minimize thoughts, so that way you can't lose track of your thought, because you're not even thinking in the first place.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We're getting deep here today on Duck Insider.
Well, we got to put you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Joey and I tend to get a little goofy, so
I'm ready
to give you a full taste of it.
Yeah, you're right. What Joey and you always talk about, though, especially when it comes to football.
Yes.
Oh, cookies.
Yeah. They're a hit.
Yeah. Happy to be back at Outson.
Yes, and there is a small but vocal segment of the fan base that very much enjoys the O Cookie updates and would like to partake. So I got to figure out a way to help share the love a little bit and show some appreciation for the loyal followers that always appreciate the cookie posts that I do on game days.
Yeah. Did it feel like game day being back at Outson Stadium on Saturday?
So I had kind of a weird experience because we had, hopefully folks have seen the mic'd up we did with Bam from men's basketball, shooting photos at the spring game. I was like on the field with him most of the game, just kind of keeping him out of trouble. It ended up taking very little effort on my part. He handled himself quite well, but I just wanted to be down there just kind of in case, So I didn't have like my normal game day experience. But it sure as heck was fun to just be back in the stadium and see it full and see everybody having a good time. That's for sure. The spring game, spring football from a coverage point of view, obviously it's so great when it starts out and you're happy to have it back, but then because there isn't like a weekly game, it feels like there's no goal you're working towards really, except to just kind of get through it and hope everybody stays healthy. So I think in that regard, it was a rousing success. Again, from a coverage point of view, obviously the staff and the players, from a development standpoint, it's huge for them. But that's kind of a hard thing to cover. The spring game is always welcome on multiple fronts as a fun celebration. But also like, all right, that means the season with actual games against opponents is that much closer.
Yeah, you mentioned the word celebration, and you wrote about it a little bit earlier this week. It really is a celebration of the past, the present, and future Ducks.
Totally, yeah, because it's always a big recruiting weekend, and I think that was no different in this case. It's always great to see alums. Having Troy Dye here, getting to see him do shout, on the field again was just awesome. I was struck by. I assumed immediately everybody's attention would go to Troy for shout, given the role he played and kind of making it the phenomenon that it is. And it didn't really happen. And I'm like, man, years have passed. Like, it's like that already, I think, for some people feels like a long time ago. But to see Kenyon Barner back here as the captains, I think, there's a couple dozen other alums at least, I think, that were on the sideline. So that was great. And then, just to get a look at the current team is fun as heck, too. I mean, it's so... you feel particularly like for the offensive line. I mean, with them all split up, that's not the group. That's neither one of those groups is like the group that's going to take the field together once the season starts. So, I saw a lot of takes, and Joey knows my opinion on takes. I have a take on takes. You can sense the venom in my voice. Not a big take guy. I saw a lot of takes about the quality of the defensive line play from the game and how that was a big highlight. And no doubt there's a lot of promise there and a lot of those guys look good. But when you're going up against an offensive line that requires so much chemistry and cohesion, and it's a split group compared to what's probably going to play together on the field in the fall, I think you kind of temper the conclusions that you reach from an exhibition like that. Obviously, there's a ton of skill position guys. Was really struck by some of the young guys in the secondary because, for good reason, there was a lot of attention on the veteran additions through the portal in the secondary. But clearly there's some really good young talent there too. So that was a big takeaway for me as well.
Absolutely. And, there was a lot happening. There's a lot of new players, and I think that everybody was really focused on the quarterbacks. The quarterback room was huge.
No doubt.
But also a couple of new rules. The 2-minute warning was in play. There was a lot going on. What were your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that were that I was completely unprepared for the 2-minute warning because the guy announced it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing now. So clearly I got a lot. This next few weeks and months as like truly the reality, kind of the nuts and bolts of wrapping our heads around changes with stuff like that, rule changes. Obviously the conference realignment, the new playoff format and how that's going to influence the way rankings are digested and perceived and all of that over the course of the season, given the expanded field and all that. I mean, I'm not sure any of us probably appreciate right now just how much transition there's going to be from last season to next season and how different it's going to feel for all of us. So, that was just like an early wake-up call, like, bro, things are going to look a lot different in a lot of ways next year.
Absolutely. Pivoting to baseball, big win on Tuesday.
Yeah, no doubt. That was awesome. I just want to point out that the only game I was at in Corvallis was Sunday.
So
you were the reason Tuesday's game. So I'm not saying there's a lot of factors, obviously, but that was one of them. Sometimes correlation doesn't equal causation, but sometimes it might, right? It might have had a little bit more to do with how the Ducks played. Awesome atmosphere, awesome comeback, and I think it just showed. I wrote about this a little Tuesday, but one of the reporters after the game Sunday asked Mark Wazakowski, what does it mean about your team that you were able to come back and salvage a game Sunday and not roll over and get swept? And anybody who knows Waz would not be surprised to know that he blanched immediately and was like, well, we're not going to roll over for anybody. That's not what we do. And I just think they showed that again Tuesday. You got punched in the mouth those first couple innings, but then punched right back. You never felt like you were out of it. I think the crowd had a little bit to do with that. The atmosphere was really good. It gets you excited again, gets you thinking back back to like the super regional environment last year, and the possibility of some crowds like that here down the home stretch for the baseball team too. Hopefully the weather plays ball. I'm not sure that's gonna be the case this weekend, but there'll be at least one more chance. So that was a fun win. I mean, it's always good, always fun to beat those guys, and in part because they've set the bar so high. They've had so much success. So. Really, really good win for this team. You can see the impact it's having on their RPI, and obviously we understand what that means for postseason implications. So, big time all the way around.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was my first time actually at PK Park all season because I've been with softball all year, and I had the same thought as you. The crowd was amazing.
Yeah,
it felt really like that super regional from last year.
Totally, and there's years past too. I mean, you always kind of expected an Oregon State game to be well attended. Unfortunately. A lot of times that meant because it was packed with people in orange, and certainly their fans are great and they take a lot of pride in that program, and so there was a fair amount of orange, a good noticeable solid amount of orange in PK Park Tuesday as well. But the presence of the Oregon fans and the ability to kind of cancel them out, and late in the game when a little "Let's Go Beavs" chants or whatever they were saying starts up, and they get drowned out by the Oregon fans. There's probably some years past where maybe that chant just is allowed to just go on because there's not a lot the Oregon fans could do about it because they were so outnumbered, but that wasn't the case in this case. So really good to see. When you have a situation like you did last year with those supers, you really hope it resonates. You really hope it's not a one-time deal and then everybody just kind of moves on and forgets about it. You really hope folks say, hey, that was fun, let's do that again. And I think there's some baseball fans that are doing that, so that's pretty cool.
Really is the turning of the tides. Yesterday, normally you come on Duck Insider, but you were at Softball Media with me, and it really feels like the dust is settling after a couple of emotional weekends for the Duck softball team. Yeah, that was kind of a weird question to pose. Like, have you moved on from Hannah Delgado breaking her neck? And I don't mean to sound pithy at all, but that's kind of the situation they're in. They've got so much potentially in front of them. Have you processed that to the point where you feel like you can move on? And Coach Lombardi and her players, I think, made that clear that, they had to do that. There's no doubt about that. But they also know there's a season to play. Hannah knows there's a season to play. Hannah wants to see the team have success. She wants to play a role in that as a voice in the dugout and is doing that. So, obviously for very good reason, that dominated kind of the narrative around them the last couple weeks. But, I think there's a sense now, probably having a relatively open weekend last weekend probably helped a little bit. Just like, all right, everybody take a deep breath. Kind of we're out of the normal season continuum of just conference weekend after conference weekend after conference weekend. We can take a break, kind of process everything, let that situation kind of settle a little bit, and now move on to what is just a huge series this weekend. Absolutely. And, Ariel Carlson came on the Mighty Oregon
podcast. She did. She was great. Yeah, she's just a great kid and great story. Eugene kid, obviously, stuck by this program when it was going through transition. Has really learned to kind of ride the highs and lows. Obviously she was the first one to get to Hannah in the wake of her injury the night it happened in Arizona, so could reflect on the kind of the little role she played there and what that was like to deal with. So really appreciated her opening up the way she did, and hope people enjoyed that.
Awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
No. Are you going to Stanford?
I am.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be down there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Leave tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
I'm getting on a train Sunday night. I'm going to see my family Monday in the Bay, and then I'm going to hook up with them Tuesday.
Do you prefer to ride on a train over a plane?
I prefer travel in all forms. But riding the train's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's overnight. So you get on at like 5 o'clock, have some food, maybe a beverage, settle in, get some sleep. I was too late buying my ticket, so I got a coach ticket. But I did put in for like an upgrade to like a little 2-person sleeper car if one becomes available, and I'm really hoping it does, because that's the way to go, man. You got a little flat surface to sleep on. You can go to a dining car to eat. It's first class.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time with us today.
Absolutely.
That fridge is stocked with Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Veteran move.
Yeah.
Veteran move.
Just wanted to let you know.
You were prepared well. You were coached up.
Yep. Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah. Good job, buddy.
Appreciate it. Hey. We'll be back after this. It's Duck Insider here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back here in the Country Financial Studio, I can confirm Rob Moseley did grab a Diet Mountain Dew. We just talked a little bit to Rob Moseley about Oregon softball. Now let's get to another Oregon softball athlete. This time it's going to be Paige Sinicki, the starting shortstop for the Oregon Ducks. She talked to the media yesterday. Here is Paige.
Bases empty is supposed to be extreme advantage to the pitcher because they're able to attack you without any fear of other than a long ball. Your average with bases empty is by far the highest that it's been in your career. It's like 340. Mm-hmm. How and why are you having that kind of success when it's supposed to be so much more advantageous to the pitcher?
I think it's just keeping it simple. We all try to get our leadoff on. Like the more we get our leadoff on, the more likely we're to score for that inning. So I think that's just like what's in my head is like I'm gonna be the best leadoff I can be. And if that's bunting or just finding a way, it just seems like a lot easier and simple. I think that's why it's been like more successful this year is that we've been focusing on getting the leadoff on. So I'm like really competitive, like Coach said, where I'm going to be that leadoff on to get things going, I guess.
Adding on to that a little bit, it just feels like your offensive numbers this year are a little bit higher than they were the previous 2 years. What's been the difference you feel like this year compared to the last 2 seasons for you?
I feel like I've grown a lot as a hitter, just learning more about my counts and more about my swing when certain things feel off or really good. But I think, honestly, a lot of it's just been the mental part of it. I feel myself in a really good spot mentally where I just am trusting what my plan is from God. And I think that's just been something that I've taken this year as my faith, and that just has helped me excel in everything I do in life. And so it takes the stress and worry away from me because I'm just trusting in something bigger than myself.
Do you want to share a little bit more about just kind of how you came to that and like it's worked for you?
Honestly, my sophomore year, like the beginning of it, I was going through some hard things, and I feel like my coach Reagan, our coach last year, she introduced like faith to me and how like that was like a huge part of her life. And I loving Coach Reagan and just having such a great relationship with her, I kind of dove a little deeper with it, and with her and with Coach Liss. And so I got involved with Remington, my roommate, and having a roommate who you can like share Christ with is just something that's like awesome. Like every day I can go home and we can talk about it, and then we go to FCA and we grow the community around us with the Lord. So I think just being able to have that roommate and then just like a community where I just feel so welcome to share my love for the Lord. It just has been just so easy, and it's made softball just way less stressful, especially when things like right now are getting hard. I'm starting to feel the stress, but I know that I'm like loved no matter what, and it's starting to get me feeling a lot better, especially since we're on the road for like 2 weeks with school. So it definitely puts me in a better place right now.
Yeah, you guys have been talking so much about kind of neutral mindset and kind of not getting maybe caught up in kind of the roller coaster of emotions. So it sounds like that's maybe something for you specifically, a technique you can use to find that neutral mindset that coach really wants everybody to.
Yeah, I think it's been helping, especially for Kai. Kai's another one that she'll go to FCA, and it's been cool to see just the Lord working through people on our team, and Alyssa, and I think the neutral mindset is something huge for our team. I mean, like, we can see that we're gone for 2 weeks and that we're missing all the school and that we're starting to feel the stress, but man, like, what a great opportunity it is to be able to play softball at University of Oregon. Like, you don't know when like these last times are going to be, like with Hannah. So I think just being able to keep that neutral mindset and just being so grateful for every moment, I think that's something that we got to take into this weekend, because everybody's feeling tired, everybody's going through it. Like, you got to stay level-minded and just be neutral.
Ask Coach about this, maybe you can reflect on it too. Obviously the Hannah thing just cast a huge shadow over everything, and justifiably, rightfully so, all that, but you also had to keep pushing through and playing games, and now the postseason's coming. Like, do you feel like you've gotten to the point where you could kind of process that, and given the fact that she's recovering kind of as well as might be expected, you can kind of move on a little bit?
I mean, Hannah's one of my best friends, so being able to see her just move better every day and just like get through the days better, it's just is cool to see that, and just to learn from her. I think that's something that a lot of us are like starting to do, is like realizing how like much strength she had is giving us strength, and so like we can move on, and we know that we're gonna be okay without her. And obviously it sucks, like I do want her in center field, but she's provided us with so much strength in this team, and I think that's going to help us move forward coming into postseason and finishing our weekend here at Stanford.
Coach Lombardi's talked a little bit about how having Hannah in the dugout kind of feels like having another coach out there. How would you describe her coaching style, and how does that compare to like any other coaches that you have on the team? Yeah,
I mean, she's just like been there, done that kind of thing. Like, she knows, she's a veteran. She's super smart with hitting, and I think it's cool to see her like talk with Kai about her slapping or just like lefty matchups, and then also just seeing her talk to the outfielders. I don't really get too much coaching from her because she's doing more with the outfielders, but she's just a great friend to have, and someone that can really relax you in situations that you might be feeling tense with. So I think she kind of has just a lighthearted mentality, but she also like can get on you if like you're struggling or whatever. Like, she's just there. She's the person that you want to be there, and I'm happy that she's in the dugout with us.
What's it been like the last couple of weeks, just on the communication aspect with Ariel in center, compared to, I wouldn't say compared to Hannah, but compared to when she was in right, so you're just dealing with a different voice there by comparison?
I feel like it's been a pretty like smooth transition. I haven't really felt too much of a difference. I mean, Hannah can get almost every ball, I feel like, that's in front or behind, so I think that's just been something that I realized I had to go back a little bit harder on balls that maybe Hannah would get to versus Ariel, but honestly, it's been super smooth sailing, and I'm excited for whoever's in center field.
Love to hear that. New year, new mindset, and it seems to be paying off for Paige Sinicki. One final timeout. When we come back, we'll talk the rest of Oregon athletics here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back to the Country Financial Studio. We talked a little bit with Paige Zanicki last time. Hey, Joey. How are you?
Good job, Knight.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Well done. Okay, last segment. I'm here now.
Last segment. Women's lacrosse yesterday wrapped up their season, a tough 12-9 loss against Arizona State. 8-7 this season, though. Bravo, Jess Drummond, her first season as the Oregon Duck. Women's lacrosse head coach, most wins since they finished 9-9 in 2018. First time finishing over 500 since 2017. For perspective, I was a freshman in high school. That's a long time ago. I'm a senior in college.
I was
now.
not a freshman in high school.
No.
I had been graduated for just a couple years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great season overall.
Good job by Jess Drummond's team.
Men's golf, Oregon's men's golf trio of Eric Doyle, Greg Solhag, and Nate Stember were each named to the All Pac-12 Honorable Mention as the conference announced in its annual postseason awards on Thursday morning. Honorable Mention awards are awarded to the student athletes who collected 2 or more coaches' votes or placed in the top 10 of last week's Pac-12 championships. The conference award is the third for Stember, second for Solhag, and the first for Doyle in their respective careers.
Shout out to Greg Solhag, the only one in the photo shoot that had on the green and yellow dunks.
Women's soccer, all CIF selections Kate Kubiak and Kylie Fehrenbacher were joining the team, or will be joining the team this upcoming season. Graham Abel announced on Wednesday. And, well, that's pretty much all that we have here on Duck Insider today.
Good show today!
Thank you, Joey.
Good show.
And with that, you'll be back at it tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
right?
yeah. Baseball. Knight's going to Stanford.
Yep.
Be on the call for softball for 2 weeks. Thanks, buddy. Good work.
Go Ducks.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts.